ladies and gentlemen, as we move forward. The theme is Disruptive Thinking, the Secret Sauce of Business Transformation. And our speaker today served in the Indian Railways for 38 years. He served as a railway advisor at the Indian Embassy in Berlin. He's also a fellow of Institute of Mechanical Engineers, London, and led the Vande Bharat Express project, India's first ever indigenous semi-high-speed train from concept to delivery. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Sudhanshu Mani, retired General Manager, Integral Coach Factory, Chennai. It is wonderful, sir, to meet you on stage once again. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mani.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The reason, to my mind, I'm here is because Mr. Rajiv Raghunath seems to like me, and also because this train, a simple train, has been turned into a brand thanks to the Prime Minister. There was, I guess, a flyer, so if you expect me to look funnier than I am, I'm sorry. You're all power people, so to expect that you will listen to me patiently is like expecting a bull not to charge you because you are a vegetarian. Einstein was asked this question, but the answer is kind of mine, is that we deciphered the atom but can't help it destroying us. And that's because the human vanity is far bigger than the human mind. I will begin with these wonderful words of the people's president, APJ Abdul Kalam, who said that dream is not the thing that you see in sleep, but is that thing that doesn't let you sleep. In The Merchant of Venice, Portia says that if to do were as easy as to know what were good to do, chapels had been churches and poor man's cottages, princesses' palaces. In the same vein, if to do were as easy as to come to you and speak about it, ... So I'll only try to speak whatever little I was able to do with the wonderful team that I was always bequeathed with. I will start with these what has come to be known as Make in India. To make India a factory of the world, came COVID and it was rejigged into Atmanirbhar Bharat, with the expectation that these lions of Make in India will roar into self-reliance. So that's for you to judge as to what's been the success. But in railways, whatever we have which moves on the track has come through what we call a transfer of technology. So you get some 30, 40 numbers, then PKD, CKD, transfer of protocols, drawing specifications, and so on. Visit abroad, jaunts abroad, picnics, whatever, but you're not able to manufacture it to the standard you imported. And why is that? Because technology, ladies and gentlemen, is a creation which lives in the mind and the heart of the creator. It is not amenable to transfer. It is an oxymoron to call it a transfer of technology. So I'm not a great speaker, so I do borrow a lot from what I call my poet uncles. And so one of the poet uncles has said that, "Mere sher aina khane mein teri beshumar adaon ke." I can go poetic about your beauty. Mere sher aina khane mein teri beshumar adaon ke. मगर ऐसी भी है कोई अदा जो रहेगी सीना-ए राज में. There is some elegance of your beauty which will remain buried in the recesses of my heart. Nobody is going to get access to that. So, the message I leave with you, whatever you do, not engineering or technology alone, as long as the gap is not too large, it should be done with your own, with ownership and pride. Where we are is stuck between mindlessly global and hopelessly local. The truth is somewhere closer to local than global. And that brings me to a simple question, nothing to do with engineering, is to do anything, anywhere, what do you need first and foremost? So I know the answers definitely are going to be these, but I add a little dimension to it through my experience is that whatever you do, you must love to do it. You must love the people you work with, those above, those below. You love the organization you work for. Since you are a leader, everyone who deals with human beings, clients, suppliers, is a leader. It's not natural to love everyone. So you have to construct, you have to manufacture that love. Once it becomes a habit, the dividends are too many. Another poet uncle of mine has said, is एक लफ्ज़ से मोहब्बत का अदना ये फसाना है. This word love has this brief story. एक लफ्ज़ से मोहब्बत का अदना ये फसाना है, सिमटे तो दिले आशिक और फैले तो ज़माना है. The message is very simple. Unless it's a serious bread and butter issue, don't be stuck in something that you don't love to do. For me, it was easy because I worked for this organization all my life. By the way, I'm a railway man for life, and I should have given you this caveat. Although there is no Q&A, but since I'm a railway man for life, I have an inherent right to be derailed, so any attempt to derail me is not going to work. You will remember that scramble for the window seat in a train as the marvel, the magic, the wonder passed you by, desolate, crowded, celebration, joy, indolence, sloth, hard work, grind, rivers, mountains, valleys. So much so that the destination itself lost its meaning and the journey became the objective. And even today, unlike the train I'm going to talk about, you can open the door and peep back. And when you see the snaking train behind you, it can give you goosebumps. And in India, in spite of all the airports and the bus stations, modern bus stations, it's still the place, a railway station platform, where the richest and the poorest stand next to each other to catch the same train. In The Tempest, Antonio says that travelers never did lie, but fools at home condemn them. So if you are unable to appreciate these wonders, I dare say that you must be a prisoner of your own confines and conflicts. That said, I'm not here to talk to you about the romance of Indian Railways, the legacy, but this. The image, the recall of an Indian Railways trains has remained the same over decades. Close your eyes and this is what you're going to see. Some changes, more AC coaches and so on. But even as a child and later when I joined railways, I always wondered why not a technologically, aesthetically speedier train, and when are we going to get that? That remained an angst and also a dream, and which was the seed of this simple story that I will try to tell you today. With the message that love is fine, but you have to look beyond love because the only thing permanent in any organization is change. In government, the horses and the donkeys, as you know, move in the same file. And some 5-10% of the donkeys towards the end of their service get a chance to be thrown up. As a general manager, this donkey got this chance in August 2016. I requested for posting in the integral coach factory, Chennai, which is the largest factory of Indian Railways, set up as a dream of Jawaharlal Nehru to make coaches of current technology. But the dream had no vision of railwaymen like me, no action plan. It was all more of the same, more expansion, more numbers, more of the same. In 1955, this gentleman, Chow and Lai with the garland, came to ICF and wrote in the visitor's book that this is a factory all Orient should be proud of, and I would like Chinese engineers to come and learn here. And where have we reached today? We make a beeline to go to China to learn from them, not only in railway, in so many aspects of technology. In a German magazine, this cartoon on the left appeared, which says, Bevölkerung Indien überholt China, which means, and look at the trains, which means population India overtakes China. Bad taste, but we have to pause and wonder as to why this was said. And also what Sam Altman recently said, you can read it, but basically he said, don't even attempt to match us, but at the same time, it is your responsibility to still make an attempt. Some of the things I've written at the bottom is what plagues us. You can add your own. I was called to speak about being a government CEO by IIM Kolkata as I joined, and I found, thanks to empowerment given by this government, a general manager of Indian Railways is empowered more than the CEO of a large private company. But there are two ways to look at it, is what's in a name. A rose would smell as sweet or as rotten, or as my Delhi uncle says, हमको मालूम है जन्नत की हकीकत लेकिन दिल के खुश रखने को ख्याल अच्छा है, which means कि सरकारी आदमी है, सरकारी आदमी usually collects glory from the chair instead of glorifying the chair. So क्या ज़रूरत है कुछ काम करने की? Well, so it's a very feudal organization, Indian Railways, and so is our government, unfortunately, in spite of our independence decades back. So I give you only very small examples here. There's no time to get into all of them. Was to only try things and with empathy and openness, break barriers, protocols, hierarchy, propriety. What you see on the left is a family tree, nobody bigger or smaller, all 12,000 workers, from the GM to the down, everyone. It becomes a selfie point and the spirit of belonging there. What you see on the bottom right is this thought of government officers copying the politicians to put their name on the plaque every time something is launched, thinking that they would go immortal. First thing I did was get them counted. There were 165 of them with officers like chairman, railway board, secretary, GM, this thing, that thing. And I said they all should be extracted and thrown out in the dust. From now on, every inauguration would be done by the senior-most staff member of that area, because he's the one who will come stand next to the plaque with his name, with his spouse, son, daughter, take that memory with him and stand next to it with tearful eyes. 500 such inaugurations were made because we were spending big, 10,000 crore enterprise with additional sanctions, all being put by me for upgrading the facilities. One last example, what you see on the top right is my second in command told me that you have many ideas, you are going to spend a lot of money, but don't interfere with the production of coaches. So I had a lot of time. I would just take a round and just meet people. I would maybe come across 300, 400 in a day in a shop floor if I go around, but a GM is ceremonial. He comes to the shop floor only for functions. So they didn't even know the name of the GM, let alone the face. But I would go there and say, I'm the GM, and I would only ask one question, which I was told never to ask, and which was, any problem? I was told I'll be flooded with answers, and the only answer I got, 99.5% of the time, in Tamil or English, no problem, sir. Basically, what we were doing was building that bridge. And that reminds me, what I was doing. You would remember in the parliament, if I can switch to Hindi here, आपको याद होगा कि एक बार माननीय राहुल गांधी जी जाके पार्लियामेंट में प्राइम मिनिस्टर के गले लग गए थे. याद है आप लोग को? तो प्राइम मिनिस्टर ने क्या कहा था? उन्होंने कहा कि आज पता चला कि गले लगने और गले पड़ने में क्या फर्क होता है. So I would only go and gale pado these people. At the same time, 25%, not the square root, I don't agree. 25% of the people carry your organization self-motivated. You can't motivate them, just pat them on the back. All you can do is demotivate them. So don't even try to attempt to motivate them. 5%, 2 to 5% would not work, whatever you do. And rest, watch as to what happens to these 2%. So you can do only two things. There's nothing like a punishment. You can't punish somebody and keep that person in your organization. He'll be a drag. Either counsel to reform, and if that's not possible, throw him out. You may well ask, is it possible in government? Yes, it's possible more than your private sector. We were able to throw out 170 such people. And I will close this just by saying that my uncle covered it well. Nothing emboldens sin so much as, if I can add, misplaced mercy. Every man has ideas. We copy the Japanese or Germans to say that ideation, quality circles, this, kaizen, this, that. And the boss has an idea, pushes it down, and it emerges as ideas of the people. Basically, you have to give a platform, encourage, and listen. Just listen. Whatever I've been able to do in my life, maybe not much, but all of that came because of an idea from those below me, and which I adapted as my idea. And my agenda got built just by talking to people who really knew what to do. Every man has ideas. All you need to do is respect it. So, when Indians came to position of power in colonial times, they were not to be trusted. The system is built on distrust and mistrust. All that, rules, regulation, monitoring, this and that. And we have not shed that. Has it brought down any corruption? No, it has increased it. Time has come to give trust a chance. And why I bring it up, I'll just, 1 minute. Complete trust was placed in the two chief design engineers who would source everything for the train with total freedom. You get it single bid, double bid, multiple bid, whatever. But responsibility is yours. Buck stops at you. We are mere signatories. And that was one of the reasons that we were able to get everything that we needed very much in time. So we were able to take production to more than double through these means. We said we'll not get any more people because we will concentrate on those 25%. We were able to revive a dying lake which still had water, and Chennai faced such a water crisis through community effort, and pelicans which were not coming to that lake for 30, 40 years started descending. And we became the only carbon negative factory of Indian Railways just through large-scale solar installation and windmill installation on Tuticorin coast. You must be wondering where the train story is. I'll come to that, but one last image. We have these systems where gender-based sexual harassment cases are dealt with through inquiry and so on. But I said, I'm not the Chief Justice of India. I'm just a simple administrator. I don't need to go into any deposition, any inquiry. All I need to keep my ears and eyes open. And if I learn of a case, or any of my officer learns of a case, we don't need anything. We need 4 hours to determine that the complaint is genuine, because there can be a false complaint. And if the complaint was genuine, I give myself only 4 more hours to throw that fellow out of the factory, sending a message. And without going into detail, the outcome was, what you see here is 29 Chennai women, aged 23 to 57, supervised by a lady supervisor, through heavy fabrication and welding, building a railway coach entirely on their own. I'm sorry about this, but nevertheless, what's the train, regular trains, the train set is nothing, no locomotives, every equipment mounted under the board of the train, that's called a train set, permanently coupled. You can pass from one cab to another without, unlike the rickety vestibule you have, through a sealed gangway. You can pack so much of equipment that you can provide a lot of power and acceleration and therefore cut down the travel time. These are the advantages. Why we don't have them, although that's the trend the world over for 25, 30 years, is because internecine warfare of departments and, of course, the import lobby. The upshot was we didn't have it. And that brings me to this circle. We are all worried about so much that is wrong all around us. And in that circle, we forget the small dot we have where we carry some influence. We're so consumed by concerns. As there's a Chinese saying which says that, why do you curse darkness? Light your own candle to remove darkness around you. Don't care for the darkness all over the world. शिकवा जुल्मत शब से कहीं बेहतर था. शिकवा complained, जुल्मत darkness शब evening. शिकवा जुल्मत शब से कहीं बेहतर था कि अपने हिस्से की एक शमा जलाते जाते. The time to light my torch was here. We tell youngsters that you go and live your dream after not having lived our own dreams. Basically, I say that look after bread and butter, look after your life, but don't let that dream die. Let it be lingering somewhere, and an opportunity will come to you to realize your dream. And that's what happened to me. This was the time heading the largest factory of India to do something about it. Otherwise, it was not a dream, it was a pipe dream. So I had the dream, I thought the vision, the fortune of a very competent group of staff with ennui written all over their face, doing more of the same, and with chutzpah, the audacity to do something new. All I needed was to channelize this energy. The first challenge, I was told, you may spend whatever money you want, but where is the sanction from the ministry? So I said, I'll get that, but I was wrong because I ran into a lot of negativity, skepticism, that I was spinning a yarn, trying to seek publicity. And then I went to the chairman, I said, you import whatever you want, we'll get this train at 1/3 the cost of your import. We will have you cut the ribbon in July of 18. We were in April 17, that's when he was retiring. I lied to him. It was kind of working when I said, I will grab your feet till you give me the sanction. Now, that brings me to a very simple question. You see, pride enhances you because it's a feel good. But your vanity diminishes you because you belittle others to elevate yourself. By grabbing his feet, I was only enhancing my pride because I would come back with the sanction. Whereas, by grabbing his feet, I was merely killing my vanity, which one of you would kill in any way, so why not kill it yourself today? So I get this sanction. Then there was a question that you were going to spend 200 crores making 2 trains for the first time, this type of train without engine to run at 180 kilometers per hour. If it doesn't work, then who's the scapegoat? I said, I am retiring in December 18. Which better scapegoat than that? They were happy. But the idea, you see, why are we afraid? Our doubts are traitors because, as my uncle has said, because we fear to attempt. How do we define success? A success is your work and the outcome. If you have given everything that you have, your passion, your commitment, your hard work, you have succeeded. The outcome is not in your hand. You may fail today, but eventually, if you're giving your everything, you are going to succeed. That's why I say when I go to IITs, IIMs, that we should be teaching failures cases instead of making case studies out of successes. I can see the time ticking, so I'll take maybe 2 to 3 minutes more. One of the doubts was also that such a project, from concept to design to manufacture to validate to test to prove out, if you go systematically, and that's the way to go, it takes about 36 to 42 months. They said, you are retiring in December 18. If we don't complete by that time, and the project is abandoned because only drawings would have been made, manufacture not started, where would we be? I said, yes, that's a problem. So we will work so hard. As Indians, we can do that. Our minds may not be where the Western mind is. That we will do something which has never been done earlier in the world, and that is from the concept to turn out of the train, we will do it in calendar year 2018 itself. And to remind everyone that the train is going out in calendar year 2018, we will give it a name. We called it Train18. After that, by and large, it was 18 months of synergy, hitches, glitches, but solutions every day, which I need not go into. I only tell you I bring you one picture here, is as the train was getting built, all the foreign consultants, we didn't go to a company, but we did go to some design consultants and all the other companies which had done more work than railways themselves because they had progressed with various equipment. But the meeting would be held right where the train was getting built in Chennai heat instead of sitting in air-conditioned rooms, just to send a message that something big is going to happen through the enterprise of the integral coach factory workers. Fortune, they say, favors the brave, and it lived up to its name once again by getting ready exactly in 18 months, and we were able to unveil it in October of 18. It went through the necessary trials at 180 kilometers per hour plus and passed with flying colors. It was launched by the Prime Minister himself as the Vande Bharat Express between Delhi and Varanasi in February 19. There was some negativity after that. I had retired in December 18, but the negativity is past. For last 1 year or so, the manufacture has started after we had built 2. We have about, I think, 26 of them in service now. And each one of them, except one, has been launched by the Prime Minister. That kind of respect a train would ever get was something we never believed when we were doing it. And why is that? It's just a train. It's not Chandrayaan or Mangalyaan or a rocket or a missile. I think the Prime Minister himself covers it very well when he says the train has become a symbol of resurgent and aspirational India. It is, those of you who understand statistics, it's much more than 6 sigma. There has not been, except one, a single failure of these 26 trains. Perhaps again, we did not do something that world class, but fortune favors the brave. And I will close with these wonderful words of my uncle, that things one are done, but joy's soul lies in the doing. Yes, but I differ a bit because there are people like Mr. Rajiv Raghunath. Where is he? They give me an opportunity to come and relive this. So thank you very much. And also, because we are talking of the uncle, he's also said that in Julius Caesar, Antonio has once says that the evil people do lives after them, but the good is oft interred with their bones. Whereas, again, thanks to Mr. Rajiv Raghunath, when my bones are interred, this session here today would be remembered. So thank you. And closing message, ladies and gentlemen, 1,000, 1 million such projects are possible in this country. All it needs is leadership with passion, empathy, and a sense of purpose. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Seek your indulgence for 30 seconds more. So after I retired, so there was this negativity I talked about, but we won't talk about it. But while I got as the leader, all the appreciation and so much coverage, much beyond something that I ever thought of, but there was a very core group of team members, totally unknown and unsung, who gave their everything for the project in their hard work, their commitment, their emotions, their passion. And it was my job to call them out by name and their contribution and record them in a book, apart from the story. So that's the book. It's called My Train18 Story. Incidentally, the Prime Minister's office had named the train Vande Bharat Express, which is a wonderful name, actually, to my... it's available on Amazon. I have no commercial interest in it, but I have pleasure to present a copy to Mr. Raghunath here, if he can step here. And sorry for bursting the time. The next speaker has to catch a flight before my flight, so I'm sorry to you too also.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure, sir. Thank you.
And ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to have Mr. Mani here. Sir, before you go, can you please continue to be with us on stage? We're open floor to questions right now, so we're going to take 2 questions. Yes, we've got somebody right here in the center. Sir, can you stand up? So we'll have the mic brought on over real quick. It is such an honor to be able to ask the questions right now. Sir.
समय बदला गालिब इंजीनियर बन गया Congratulations, Mr. Mani.
Ghalib engineer nahi bana. Engineer is trying to emulate Ghalib, that's all.
So I have something to ask you, but before that...
Let me tell you something more.
Yes.
So engineer knows 2 plus 2 is 4. Whereas art and literature will tell you that 2 plus 2 is sometimes 3 and sometimes 5.
How is that?
To learn that, an engineer has to go to art and literature, even if he doesn't understand, has to, contrive and construct some kind of or take help from more learned people to learn more about life. One more line. A famous UP politician was once asked, कि 2 plus 2 कितना होता है? तो वो सोच में पड़ गए. तो बोले कि मिलना है कि देना है? So this is one way to answer a question, is to derail the question itself. So please go ahead, sir.
So I have a confession to make. I have a hardbound copy of Train18, your story given to me by Mr. Sunil Kapoor, Managing Director, Pioneer Publicity, or Pioneer, whatever. He came to meet me and he gave me a book.
Thank you, sir.
And I know you since then. I respect you.
Sir.
And I want to draw upon, I'm not going to ask you questions from the presentation that you have made.
Sir.
It was so well contained.
Sir.
I must pick your brain on one thing, sir, which as an industry we also grapple
Sir.
with.
Sir.
Rich people travel by trains,
Sir.
but train is considered to be a poor man's.
Common man.
Poor people are traveling by airport, by flight, and airport is considered to be a rich man's destination. And we live with this stereotype. How to break the first?
It has to break.
How
and
to
how?
break?
I'll tell you. How comes later. First you have to make a resolve. So I can give you a very long answer, but I'll try to give a very short one because our lady is staring at me. We are in Amrit Kal. And at the end of Amrit Kal, or before the Amrit Kal ends, India is going to be a developed country. You believe in it? I do. And then we go back. First believe that it's going to happen. Then if you are going to be a developed country, will these common men travel like they do today in our second-class coaches? Will you ever see that in a developed country? So no good saying that the fare they pay is very little and so. You have to enable them. They will be enabled with 3, 5, 4 times their money in their pocket when we become developed to afford AC travel. But you have to start now. Give them dignity. Comfort. First dignity, then comfort. At least a place to sit, if not to sleep. Not the way they travel. It's not impossible. This is not the forum for me to tell you how, but every Indian has to travel air-conditioned. In our climate, it has to be air-conditioned travel with comfort. It's possible. More attention towards it is required. I hope that answers your question, but you want more discussion, I think I should not delay her friend here. And yes, one more
And we've
question.
got one more question, sir, in the corner there. Can you please stand?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Can we have the mic brought on over real quick?
Hi.
Sir.
Thanks for a wonderful presentation and
Sir.
letting us know in the vision of Prime Minister about, I'll not speak much in detail about that. I have just one question. I represent advertisement fraternity. All of us are here from that. And as long any of us remember, railways and advertisement go hand in hand. From a wall painting to a hoarding, to advertisement on a cup or on the back of a ticket, or a train wrap.
Yeah.
Everywhere there has been advertisement. We've grown with that and railways has partnered with us. It's like a principle to us.
Yeah.
So with that in the backdrop,
Yeah.
and the changing train transformation which you just showed us and the way forward India would be progressing, how do you see our advertisement fraternity of the way we see advertising and these new modern developments which are going to take place, which might have been thought about in your time, how do you see this transversing in the new changing ecosystem?
Very good. So unlike you all, I'm not, I don't know that much about advertising, except like a Sarkari Babu, which tried to pass out advertisements as a DRM or general manager. But, so one of the things, for example, in this train, we thought must have, because even in Germany, I found uninterrupted Wi-Fi was not available. I mean, through your phone, network is not there. To provide uninterrupted Wi-Fi, it's possible, and it was provided. How much it is being used, I don't know. And then use it entirely for infotainment and advertisement. And the model with the people I was working with was wonderful because instead of putting monitors on train, I don't see that in West also. Everyone has devices, multiple devices. Let them watch what they want, what they choose, but financed through advertisement. And that was a thought which has not really fully worked, but I hope it will because the platform is available. Otherwise, as you said, I can only say that it has to be a partnership because advertisers bring revenue to railways, and this non-fare, non-box revenue that railways get has to increase because, as I just said, if you look after common men, fare is not going to take care of your operations. Now, how that can happen can only be when there is empathy and concern and you are not a dispenser of favors, but you are partners. Advertisers and railways sit together and work out means so that the railway premises, the railway trains are used. And let me tell you, railway premises is important, but trains are much more important. A traveler spends 90% of the time in the train and not in the station. So these are some of my thoughts. I can't go into details, but it has to happen in interest of railways, self-sufficiency, and financial betterment.
Thank you very much, sir. We've got a memento for you, so can we please request Miss Jaya Lakshmi to kindly join us on stage. As she walks on, let me share with you that she is editor at VJ Media Works, and it's wonderful. It's been an honor, sir, to have you here. It's my second time this year getting the privilege to introduce you on stage, and it's an honor.